Oil and Gas Summit 2023 was organized to stimulate ideas for petroleum operations in the country. The summit shone a spotlight on the sector's project pipeline, highlighting the opening each phase will offer investors, from construction and optimization to the distribution stage. The topic of funding and financing for the energy industry was high on the agenda, alongside Ghana's offshore plans for the Jubilee field and forthcoming contract for the country's liquefied natural gas projects. Ghana's pioneering local content policy was also discussed, together with the role and mark for renewables as part of longer-term efforts to cut emissions.
They are quite impactful. The chamber has done quite a good work, very detailed work, and I'm particularly impressed at the level of work and the detail that is shown in their report. We monitor production every day, and they got the native data, and then the analysis that they've done is very good for the industry. So I recommend it to anybody who wants to study the oil and gas industry in Ghana to go for their report. I understand it's free, so download it and then read what is going in the oil and gas space. And one of the key things that you find there for all Ghanaians is that it tells us how our oil and gas is used. The monies that we get, GNPC reports it, the Ministry of Energy and also the Ministry of Finance reports it. But here are people who work in the industry, from the private sector, who are reporting it from another dimension altogether. So Ghanaians can compare and see what we do and know that, look, oil and gas is bringing a lot of, value to the country. And we should all be happy and support it, support the chamber, and then let them do their work better. They talk for the private sector in the oil and gas space, which is good. They advocate for them, they go to government, they come to with the state institutions to talk on their behalf, areas that are thorny and they could not be discussed clearly among ourselves. The chamber does that very well, and then leverages the kind of relationships that they have, and also the contacts they have, and they make all of us understand so that we can work better to make the industry grow. Already optimizes domestic gas to the maximum. We produce around 300 million standard cubic feet a day of gas, and what I can say, if you multiply by, let's say, 5, that's like 1.5. You want to use it to generate electricity, just a little share of 1.5 gigawatts of power. That's a lot. That's the kind of gas that we are getting. I think what they meant is that, look, there is still a lot of gas out there, and that we should all work together to bring this gas to market. And it's not just for power generation. We can use gas to fuel our vehicles. We can use gas to replace diesel and also heavy fuel oil used in boilers in factories. We can use gas to do petrochemicals, plastics, and so on. So I think that's where they are coming from. And already GNPC, the ministry, the state institutions are working and collaborating very well with the likes of Cosmos, Talo, to ensure that gas produced is brought to the market. And the market is Ghana. We are not selling our gas anywhere. So the gas that is produced in our oil field is already domesticated. We use it here. And it's creating a lot of value. Imagine, as it was shown in the presentation, we were to use liquid fuel like crude oil or diesel to generate power. That's a lot of money in $100 per barrel oil price now. But now we have negotiated price for gas, and we are producing that gas and using it to generate power. That's why it's one of the reasons why, among others, that we have a stable power in the country now. When it comes to pricing, there is a saying that when you go to the negotiation table and the two negotiators agree on something but come back unhappy, then you should know that a good deal has been struck. So we are not, we negotiate a gas price, we negotiate petroleum agreements, and then everybody goes back and say, well, I lost this, the other side too says I've lost this. But the beauty is that we continue working. We continue producing oil and gas. We continue producing especially gas to fire our power plants to generate power in Ghana. Like was explained, sometimes the gas price, you need to look at both sides. You need to satisfy the investor so that the investor can produce more of the gas and bring into the market. At the same time, you need to look at the Ghanaian situation and ensure that the price is not too high. The price is not too high so that we can keep our power going and we can pay for it. Gas, which is a commodity or the fuel, is a major component of the pricing of electricity in Ghana. So we on the Ghanaian side, we work very hard and push the producers so that we get a good price for Ghana. But at the same time, we need to get a price that will ensure that the producers of oil and gas continue producing that gas for us. GNPC, since I joined in way back in the 90s, has always done that. What we do is, in the beginning, we had our data scattered all over the world because we have various vintages and other people who held it for us. We brought it all to Ghana, and then we ensured that we put it in a way that anybody who wants to explore for oil and gas can access. That has been done. Then we discovered commercial gas in 2007, and since then we've been doing everything. What we do is we get the data, we generate prospects. What we do is we look at the earth barrel from the data that we have and know where potentially we get oil and gas, and then we tell people that it could be here. And then government, that's a Petroleum Commission, Ministry of Energy, negotiate the petroleum agreement with our participation, GNPC's participation. And then in doing that, we still work with oil and gas companies to ensure that they can be able to explore and make discovery. And after making discovery, we work with them that they can develop it and produce. And they produce it at a very good price. And we GNPC have always ensured that we do not bring pricing, or the other side does not work in a way that the projects are too expensive. Sometimes we can shave off like $1 billion from the development, sometimes more, just to bring something to Ghana. And one of the things that we did in the past was to negotiate a gas price for 200 million scales of gas, free for Ghana. And we've used it till the early this year. And that's what we used to generate electricity, to build the midstream. That's what built Ghana Gas. That's what built the pipelines that we have. That's what allowed the power plants to generate power for us using gas. And we've built that system. So now we can continue.
Well, we really want the narrative to energize the industry. You know, it's very easy to have a theme where you probably pick on challenges and so on, but we deliberately said prospects and opportunities, because that's where we are. It's an industry that has huge potential. Sometimes I think we don't quite recognize it. And you heard some of the speakers say, you know, this industry alone can transform this country. We've got to figure out what we need to do. So we're talking about opportunities and prospects for Ghana's oil and gas industry. And we've brought in people from Guyana, from Trinidad and Tobago, from Nigeria, from people that have been this road to see how best we can, you know, exchange ideas and do ourselves some good. The report is what we call the annual report. This is the 2023 report. And you heard it presents the industry, the status of the industry as it is today. And it makes recommendations at the end. We want our reports to always end up with a focus. So at the end of the report, we are saying, what do we need to do? And we identify 2 or 3 things. Let's look for too many things. One is we want to incentivize exploration. Exploration is where it all begins. If you explore, you find oil, you develop it, you produce it. If you don't find any, you're not doing anything. Okay, I mean, look, you heard that just 2 weeks ago we had 30,000 barrels. It's coming from the good old Jubilee field. Thank God for it. But we need more of it. You can see the activity is very limited. You know, how do we incentivize exploration? What are we doing wrong? What could we do right? Let me put it that way, to get more and more investment, foreign investment and local investment. When I talk about investment, I'm talking about both foreign and local investors. Of course, the magnitude of some of our tasks require huge sums of money that can only come from large companies. But working together, we go on. So that's a recommendation. Another thing is we talk about energy transition. Let's not argue too much about it. It's a reality. It's there. It might happen in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. We can all argue. It doesn't matter. We agree it's going to happen. What opportunities does it provide us? Because it is real. So what are we going to do with that? Then we talk about our gas. You know, let me tell you something. Oil comes with gas. In Ghana, we're always talking about the oil. But it is the gas that is the game changer. It's the gas that's giving you electricity. It's the gas that will go into your industry. It's the gas that, believe it or not, will give you fertilizer. It is the gas. So what do we do with the gas? And we have plenty of gas offshore, in the ground. You have to put in big investment, build pipelines and stuff to transport it and bring it. Then to come to your good point, the thing is you might get the gas, but now the price. You see, the companies might produce gas, but then it has to be bought. And there are always challenges around that. So part of our aim to over the next 2 days is to push that subject a little. See how we can find a price that's good for country, for consumer, but also for the investor. Because you have to. If you don't, they won't put any money in it. If you don't put any money in it, it will not happen. So these are some of the things we're looking at today. In a way, we don't realize we haven't done badly at all. I mean, you are younger, but when I'm about your age or so, all our power plants were using crude oil. And it was so expensive. Like now it's $100 a barrel. Gas is 35. So you see the amount of money we are saving by using gas. Our power plants are now primarily gas. It was Akosombo, remember? Then there was crude, hydropower, then there was oil to power the plants. Gradually we changed it about 30 years ago. Ghana has made some changes. So in a way we are ahead of transition. We've done quite well with our gas and made sure that we have our gas as our fuel for our power plants. And look, now we're talking about gas as the transition fuel. So fantastic. I mean, we have gas, domestic gas. What I want us to do is harness our gas. I'm not talking about buying gas from somebody else. I'm talking about Ghana's own gas. Okay, and so I think we're in the right place with our gas, but we really need to understand that this is going to be the real game changer. If we focus on the gas properly, I'm telling you something, we will be in a good place. Because 100% of zero is zero. They have now reached 100,000. What they've done is that, what the Talo has done is that it's just produced in the southeast part of Jubilee another 30,000 barrels, which has brought us up to 100,000. The FPSO has a capacity of about 120,000 barrels. It can store that amount, so there's still some space. If we work a little harder, we push, before you know we're doing. What would be beautiful is to start to say we have to expand the FPSO because it cannot contain that. Are you getting me? That's what we want to do, to push the boundaries a lot more. So it was wonderful. Jubilee Southeast has been great. It's an example of how policy can do good. Because remember that, as some of the speakers said, there's that part of the field is what you call near field. This wasn't where they were working. But they were able to get government to approve for them to go and drill there without a new agreement. Originally, they would have needed a new agreement. So those are some of the things when you do, you know, so it helped. They thought, fine. They went in there, and there you are. You have another 30,000 barrels. I mean, look, people go, some say it's small, some say, but the truth is that 30,000 barrels is still 30,000 barrels, as I keep saying now, because 100% of zero is zero. Joe was talking about that there are negotiations ongoing and we need to find a price. Remember that Jubilee gas was free. When we first signed agreements with Talon, they were there to do oil, not the gas. So the gas is for us. So, you know, they gave us the gas free for several years. But that ended, I think, at the beginning of this year. And they started charging, I think, 50 cents or something. Now, you heard Joe say you don't get gas anywhere less than $4 for what a unit of gas. And there are discussions now for a price that government is comfortable with, the investor is comfortable with. Let's continue that. Let's give and take. Let's do things so that...
Thank you for watching Nation One TV. Kindly subscribe for more news updates.